Today we're going to take a look at the question of how to see through the fog of rhetoric. How is it that we can have the ability to get through the ethos and the pathos of an argument of rhetoric, to get at the heart and soul of it, to get at the logos? So to review, ethos is the reputation or the aura around the speaker or the presenter. Who are they? What do you know about them? What do you think about them? What do other people think about them? This is their reputation. How credible, how trustworthy, how honest, how believable, and if they're an expert in the topic. This is their ethos. So here we have Megyn Kelly, a famous and popular commentator on Fox News cable channel. She has the show called The Kelly File. Her reputation, her ethos, is generally thought of as intelligent, articulate, experienced, humorous, conservative, and certainly she is thought to be beautiful, and that does add a lot to her popularity on the news channel of Fox. Again, as a review, when we think about pathos, let's think about Megyn Kelly. When I, the audience, you, the audience, listen to Megyn Kelly, when we listen to what she has to say, when we watch her TV program, what are we feeling? What are the emotions that we feel? Because the emotions are the way that we are potentially manipulated. The emotions that we have to consider are the emotions of admiration, envy, anxiety. Does what she's saying cause us to worry? Does it cause us to be envious or insecure? Am I worried about terrorists, taxes, politicians, scandals? What is it? Does her productions and information bring me awe or disgust? Or maybe she's saying something funny and I feel joy, or maybe she's just looking particularly attractive and I am feeling the pathos of lust. Whatever it is, we have to understand what we're feeling, not what we're thinking, what we're feeling, because her presentations and everyone's presentations brings about an emotional response in me. That's my pathos. I've got to know what it is to be able to understand it. And so when I watch Megyn Kelly, every now and again I'll turn the TV on around 9 o'clock and her show is on. And I can be honest with you, my listeners, that I do in fact admire Megyn Kelly. I don't know if I necessarily envy her. I'm not sure if I always feel anxiety, though I might, depending on if she's talking about terrorist or taxes or something like that. I don't know about insecurity, but it's possible. We'll cross it off for now. Does she bring about awe in me as a viewer? Could be. I'm always impressed by her intelligence, by her articulate nature, and by her wisdom. So I might feel awe. Let's improve the check mark. Disgust, again, it depends on what she's talking about, but not usually. Does she bring about joy? You know what? I like her sense of humor. I find her joyful and easy to listen to. So yeah, we'll check off joy there. Lust, well, I'm a normal human being. I find her very attractive, and even though I'm a Catholic priest, I'll admit to struggling with the temptation when it comes to my dear friend Megyn Kelly and what she has to say. I find her entertaining and easy to watch. So I've told you about my pathos in regards to Megyn Kelly, and I've been brutally honest, so if I've offended or been inappropriate, I'm sorry. But here's the thing. All rhetoric brings about in us good emotion, negative emotion, some emotion. All rhetoric brings about an emotional response. And unless you can admit what you're feeling, as I just did when I watched Megyn Kelly, as I told you, when I watch Megyn Kelly, unless you're able to respond with your own analysis of, hey, this is what I'm feeling when this politician is talking, or that social commentator, or my favorite politician, or my least favorite politician. Unless you're able to admit what your emotions are when you hear them, you're powerless to do anything about it. You're captives to your emotions. This is the point. Rhetoric has the ability to move you positively or negatively with emotions. The only way for you to listen beyond the emotion is if you can admit what you're feeling the way that I just told you I admit what I feel when I listen to Megyn Kelly. This is what we've got to be able to do, to hear something greater than just the fog of rhetoric. So this is the secret. This is how you get to logos, and that really is the heart and soul of an argument. It's the logic, logos of an argument. So what you've got to do is you've got to be able to state and describe first the ethos. State and describe the ethos. What is the reputation, the aura of the speaker, Megyn Kelly? We could say these things about her. Then we have to admit and describe my emotional response to what she's saying, who she is, and how she's saying it. What am I feeling when I watch her, when she speaks, when she's talking? What is my pathos? This is what we have to be honest about. And as soon as we do that, then we have control over it. Then we can move past it. As soon as we can describe ethos and pathos, what's the reputation, what's my emotions, then we can put it in a box. Then it can go here. Then we can take it off of ourselves, divest ourselves, give it away, put it in a box, and then we can put the box on the shelf. We can put it up there on the shelf, far away from us, at least in our minds. And when it's up on the shelf, when it's in a box, when it's set away, then all of a sudden we can get at the third aspect of rhetoric. Now we can get at logos. This is the heart and soul of what any speaker is trying to get at. This is their logic. This is their premises, their conclusions. We have to learn how to listen for the logos of what somebody is presenting. Logos. What are their premises? A singular premise or their multiple premises? Usually there's plenty of them. And then what do those premises add up to? What is their conclusion? What is it that they want to make by way of a point? What is the ultimate idea that they want us to think about, to agree with, to logically come to understand? That's their conclusion. Very often, very, very often, speakers will have fallacies. You've got to learn how to listen to this because you've got to find the problems with the logic, the fallacies, in their logos. This is what you're listening for. And it can only be done if you first got rid of the ethos and the pathos. These are the fallacies. In media today, particularly in social media, you have fallacies everywhere. Fallacies like ad hominem, fallacies like appeal to authority, fallacies like tu quoque, fallacies like the fallacy. All of these fallacies, a real popular one is no true Scotsman. And if you're involved in American politics, or you know about American politics, there are such things as rhinos. RHINO, a rhino. And that stands for Republican in name only. That's the no true Scotsman fallacy. You've got all kinds of different fallacies, but the most popular fallacy that I've come across in media is the fallacy of begging the question. And that is that some commentator will offer some logic, and there are certain premises that they just assume that you know, that you agree with, and that you're just going to buy. And so you listen to their logic and it seems beautiful, but you don't agree with the conclusion. And the reason is they've begged the question. Oftentimes they've begged the question, and they assume a premise without stating it, and you don't quite understand how the premises got to the conclusion. That's begging the question. That's a fallacy. That's a logical problem, and it's often one of the reasons why people are able to manipulate us logically, because they beg the question. So here we are. This is how you get from all of the functioning of rhetoric, ethos, pathos, and logos, the three aspects of Aristotle's rhetoric. This is how you get to logos. You state the ethos. You admit the pathos. You put it in the box up on the shelf, and logos is all that remains. Logos is the heart, the logic, the wisdom, the reason of an argument. And unless you can get to the logos, unless you know how to analyze and put away, admit and put away the pathos and the ethos, then you're subject to being manipulated by others' rhetoric. But if you can state the ethos, admit your pathos, logos is all that remains, and no longer are you subject to be manipulated by media. Now you can actually analyze what the media is saying, what any speaker is saying, what any rhetorician is offering you by way of rhetoric. You now have power over the message because you can do away with the ethos, you can do away with the pathos, and you can listen and analyze the logos. Thank you very much. I hope you learned something. I hope you now are somehow equipped to be able to analyze and no longer be manipulated by people who are speaking to you. You can hear what they're really saying and decide for yourself whether you agree. Have a good day.